What's going on, guys? Justin Skaggs here from Style & Strings Lacrosse. Today we're going to string up this Surgeon 10 500 with the brand new knot mesh from STX. We're going to combat the asymmetrical nature of the mesh and give you guys a nice middle pocket with a great channel. Alright, the STX knot mesh, what you're going to notice about this is that it's not symmetrical, meaning that this diamond on this side doesn't exist on this side. It's got a little knot. What we're going to do is the right hand side, we're going to go all the way out to the final string. The left hand side, we're going to absorb this final string into the mesh. So we're going to actually use the first diamond row in on the left hand side, and the last diamond row on the outside, and that's going to keep it perfectly symmetrical. You're actually going to have a 9 and 8 diamond piece of mesh. It's going to string very similar to what you're used to, and then you can get all the cool properties from the STX knot mesh without having to reinvent the wheel. On something like the Surgeon 10, I really don't usually skip a sidewall hole for my top string. I go right into the top because of the flare. As you can see, I went from the outside to the inside of the head. I'm going to go right through that overlap, and I'm going to come back the same way that I came originally. And that's going to secure it to the side of the head. Boom, just like that. Let's take one of these other sidewall strings that we're not using right now, and let's just thatch the other side directly to the head. That way you don't have any guessing as to where the string's gonna go. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm just gonna do a symmetrical hitched top string. And that goes from going from the back of the head to the face, through the mesh, and around its original starting point. Then we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna go through the mesh and back from the face of the head to the back of the head, pulling it through the loop that we had just created. Pull all the slack out. You'll see that it makes a nice symmetrical hitch. Now, as we get to the end of the top string here, you're just gonna pull out this little set string. We're gonna set that aside because it's gonna actually act as one of our sidewalls. Let's take our top string, put it through towards the face of the stick, through the mesh, through the sidewall hole from the inside to the outside. That's where that sits at that point. And we're just gonna wrap it again, right around the mesh, in the same direction. Simple overhand knot on the outside of the mesh, and the outside of the plastic. We'll keep it where it needs to be. Since we started the other side with the double knot, I'm gonna end it on this side just for aesthetic purposes. I'm gonna go from the outside. You can see how that double knot really grips it right there. I'm gonna go from the face of the stick to the back of the stick through the first open diamond hole. As I'm pulling that down, you can see it already kind of thatches it for you. So we're just gonna move to the next one. I'm gonna do a knotted interlock. I go from the outside through the mesh. If you keep this slack here, it makes things nice and easy. See how I have this loop? Drop the string right through that loop. And as you pull it, you'll see that it gets tighter. This string right here, it's going to be the one that'll get all the slack out. So work it that way. Grab the elongated string. That's going to really thatch this nicely to the side. You can use a standard interlock, you can use any kind of interlock, but this one right here does the job better than all of them, so you might as well throw out all those things and just use this. The next segment of this pocket's going to be pretty easy. We're going to continue doing what we've already done for the next 5 open holes. We're only going to skip on the last one. So you're going to see 4 of these KIs going down. So we have 1, 2, 3. We're gonna skip this hole right here, but we're not gonna ever skip a diamond hole. So we're gonna skip 1 hole on the head, do our last KI. Now what we wanna do is we want to basically close off the other side of the pocket, start bringing the tension in so that it actually nestles the ball where we want it to, rather than slouching down, giving you a low pocket. From the face to the back, or from the front to the back, depending on your terminology. Let's skip a hole in the sidewall. Go from the inside of the plastic to the outside of the plastic. Make sure that's nice and tight. And let's just go with ones the rest of the way down. I'm gonna go from the outside bottom string hole. See, I did that double knot. The bottom string holes on this head. are a little large, and that's great because then you can utilize different types of string. When you get to this middle diamond, you're going to want to skip it and then continue your weave pattern across. Here we go. Back through the bottom hole. Before you tie it off, pull it as tight as it can go. Put your hand in there and actually mold that pocket. You can see that it's going right dead center. And if I were to pull it, it would actually pull the pocket down a little bit. So there you have it. That's how you guys can combat the asymmetrical nature of the knot mesh, get all its other attributes, all its strength and all its durability, and still have a pocket that you guys are familiar with stringing. If you guys ever need to learn anything else about stringing, you can go to styleandstrings.com. And I want to thank STX for having me at your headquarters, letting me play with all your cool stuff here. Take care, keep laxing.